In this week's POW, we're talking about a baseball stadium and trying to find out how many seats are empty, how many seats are in each section, and how many rows are in a section. So we have 3 questions we have to solve. So I'm going to help you set up the equations or the expressions for each of the 3 parts of the POW. So for part A, Friday night's game, 8,395 tickets were sold. How many tickets or how many seats were empty? I need to first look at the total number of seats in our stadium. And our POW in the first sentence tells us how many seats there are, 10,500. So the first thing I have to do is write an expression showing that I'm starting out with 10,500 seats in the stadium, and I am subtracting the number of tickets that were sold because each ticket represents 1 seat. So 10,500 minus 8,395. And that's going to give me an answer. I'm going to call that answer seats. For part B, how many seats are in each section? Well, we have to go back to the word problem again. We know that there is 10,500 seats in the stadium. In the second section, it says the stadium is evenly divided into 12 sections. What that means is the stadium has 12 different groups of seats. So those 10,500 seats are divided up evenly into those 12 sections. So I would have to do a division expression showing the number of seats in my stadium and dividing it by the number of sections in the stadium. So 10,500 divided by the 12 sections. And that will tell me how many seats are in each section. The last part says, if each section has the same number of rows and each row has the same number of seats, if there are 35 seats in a row, how many rows are in a section? So part B told me how many seats are in a section. I need to take that number and divide it by 35 because I'm trying to find out how many rows there are. So I have to take the number of seats in that section and divide it by 35. So I'm going to write seats in each section because that is my variable. And I'm dividing it by 35 because there's 35 seats in a row. And this will tell me how many rows in a section. So that is what you have to do. So that is what you have to do to solve your POW. You have 3 different answers. You should have 3 different sentences, 1 sentence for each part. 1 sentence telling me how many tickets or how many seats are empty. Seats that are empty. 1 sentence showing me how many seats are in each section. And 1 sentence telling me how many rows are in a section. When you are done, you're going to explain what we did. For part A, we subtracted the number of tickets sold from the number of seats in the stadium to figure out how many were emptied. For part B, we took the total number of seats in the stadium and divided it by the number of sections in the stadium. And for part C, we took the number of seats in a section and divided it by the number of seats in a row. That's how you're going to write up your POW. Make sure you have those things. Answer in a complete sentence that answers each of the parts. Explain your steps, and you can write out your work like I have on my screen. You have all that done, and you have the correct answers, and you'll get 100. This needs to be turned in by Friday for credit.